Hello,
Hello,
and welcome to Fruit Salad. What's today's mix? I'm Geo.
and I'm Tabby.
Two best friends who have nothing better to do.
We want to thank you so much for joining us on this podcast episode. We're happy to have you join us, and we hope that you enjoy burning your time with us today.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, for reals.
How was your week?
Huh. I have had a real busy week. It's finals week for me, and so I'm finishing up all of my classwork and prepping for tests and whatnot.
Dude,
And
finals are gross.
yeah, finals are pretty gross.
They're pretty gross. I don't
Especially
like
one
them.
of your classes is just busy work.
Like, what kind of busy work do you do?
Um, well, like, I'm not gonna say exactly what it is, right? But it's basically how to be good at a job, like teaching you how to be a professional. It's because I'm doing a professional technical degree, and most people in my situation don't have a lot of work experience. I'm the anomalous one that has like 6 years of professional work experience, so I don't necessarily need it as much as others. It's more of a refresher for me, but
Yeah, I can see that.
I feel like the teaching material is back from like the 1950s though, which is like a severe disappointment. Every single time they had like something wrong, like somebody was doing a wrong job or something, like it was always a female name. I'm sitting there going like, "Oh my god, guys, come on, just like can we just stop? Can we just be people?"
You, oh man.
I know.
Oh no.
I know. So yeah, I've had a week, but like I've also had one of the best weeks too because I started writing again.
You did.
Oh my god, I'm on like cloud nine. I'm real happy about it.
Fantastic.
How was your
Oh, I'm glad
week?
because my week. Let me see.
Sorry for cutting
It's
you off.
usually you be quiet over there. You shush it.
Never.
Ah, okay. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, you completely derailed my train of thought.
I'm good at
Anyway,
that.
here we go. My week. It was okay. Just a lot of work, home, work, home, work, home. Make soap,
Makes sense.
work, home. Play 14. Draw a little doodle.
I
And
mean,
that's it.
it sounds kind of peaceful.
It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Monotonous. It can be very monotonous at times.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very monotonous. But you know what? At least I know what my days are going to be like.
No, I
You
mean
can say that.
that's fair. I mean, most of these days I don't go very far from the house, though I feel like that's a lot of us these days, given the state of
Yeah,
things.
that is true. Well, I was thinking earlier this week, I was trying to decide on what would be a good topic to talk about this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? What about dreams? I've had some freaky ass
Oof.
dreams. I know you have.
Oof.
So
Dreams.
I ran it by with you, and you was like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, let's do dreams.
Hell
So this
yeah.
week's podcast topic will be dreams. We're going to talk about
Dreams.
what our dreams are normally like,
Yep.
what our weirdest dreams were, recurring dreams,
Mm-hmm.
as well as probably I, I want to say this is weirdest, but I already said we're going to have a weirdest dream topic, but most unusual, we'll
Separate.
say that, most
Yeah.
unusual experience with a dream,
Yep.
as well as experience with sleep paralysis.
And you know, I
So,
was I was thinking too, on top of this, and I forgot to mention it earlier, but on the topic of sleep paralysis, like I know a lot of people suffer from this, right?
hmm
So I wanted to like mention a little thing about lucid dreaming if people are interested in it and like how it can help you escape sleep paralysis. So yeah.
well, if they're interested,
Yeah, I
then I
mean,
am. I mean,
right?
if they're not, I still am. You could tell me.
Perfect.
All right, so we'll start off with what are your dreams normally like? For me, I don't really dream. I mean, I've heard that everybody dreams. Every single person on the planet, whenever they go into their deep REM cycles or whatever it's called, they do dream. It's
Mhm.
just that people don't remember them when they wake up, or it evaporates shortly upon waking.
Right.
And I'm one of those people that I cannot remember my dreams. I just call it not dreaming. So
Right.
I don't really dream, but whenever I am able to remember my dreams, they're either very mundane or they can get really weird. There was this dream I had a long time ago that had stuck with me, and that's going to be the weirdest dream portion that I'm going to contribute. But I don't know what it is. I've just never really dreamt much. What about you?
I physically hurt when I hear that. So I'm the opposite. I'm so far opposite.
See, it's really all I know though, so I don't really know what I'm missing. So
Right.
you don't have to feel bad for me because I don't know what I'm missing.
Which I mean is a blessing. It really is because oh my god, I'm the opposite end of the spectrum. I remember most of my dreams that I have, and I am a very active dreamer. Um, I my dreams are so tactile. They're like I swear I can smell, I can feel, like touch and like taste, and I've ate food in my dreams and have absolutely tasted it or have thought I've tasted it. Like I don't know what to call that. I know that people say you don't have like tactile senses in dreams, but like my brain's really good at tricking me evidently.
Oh,
Um
what's a food that you've eaten that you've tasted?
oh,
I'm interested in that because I'm a fatty. I want to know. I'm hungry.
okay.
Always hungry. Tell me
So
about your foods.
So my mom found this recipe for a like strawberry and cream vanilla cake.
Uh huh.
And I still have this recipe. And like she made it for my birthday one year, and I will not eat anything but like strawberry vanilla cream cakes now on my birthday because it's the best cake I've ever had in my life, right? Um And so in my dream, I actually had a dream that I had a slice of that cake. And it wasn't
Right.
anywhere near my birthday, so it wasn't like a recent memory or anything else, but I tasted the whole thing. It was like the very first time I had that cake. And like I've eaten I've been at buffets before in dreams. Like my dreams feel like a Hollywood produced movies. Like they make sense. They have plot lines. They have that there's some semblance of sense to it. Um I don't have like surreal dreams. Like I do sometimes, but they usually trip me out and I'm like, what the hell is happening? And because I'm a lucid dreamer, I kind of change it. I just change my dreams.
Lucid dreaming is basically you can control your dreams, right?
Yeah.
Ah, see, I don't dream enough, so I don't think I'll ever have luck with that because
It's a
I
developed
don't
skill.
really dream. So,
Exactly. It's a developed skill. Um
so for people like you, that's got to be awesome because you dream every night, you remember everything. But for people like me, when I close my eyes, it's just darkness, and then next thing I know, I'm waking up.
Man, that's
But
really bizarre to me.
but people, I do believe people when they say you dream every night. But when I go to bed, I'll lay on my left side for a little bit,
Mhm.
get comfortable. And then when I'm starting to get drowsy, I'll turn to my right side. And I just remember closing my eyes. And whatever played out behind my freaky little eyelids, I can't see. It's just black. And then I open my eyes when my alarm goes off.
So you from what I hear, like you actually know the moment you fall asleep.
Not, I don't, maybe. It's possible.
Ah, that's cool. Like I don't. Like I'm awake 1 second and then I'm in a dream. That's how I sleep. My brain just has
Uh,
to hard shut. Like it's not a process. It's just an event.
it's just an event. It's this whole ordeal.
Yeah. No, I have wicked bad insomnia. Um
Oh, I do too. Like I actually have to force shut down myself.
yeah.
I have to take something to help me sleep because if I don't, then I won't sleep.
Yeah.
My brain is too active.
Mhm.
It is too hyper focused on things.
See, that's
So
why
I
I
have to make
think
myself drowsy.
yeah, that's why I think that you're probably like a really avid dreamer, but you just don't remember it.
I don't remember.
Yeah, because you have such an active brain. It's kind of wild though. Pretty cool.
Man, I never said that it was actually good in an active way. It's probably, I probably have some really garbage dreams.
I mean, maybe it's a good thing you don't remember your dreams.
See, it's possible that I don't. Maybe it's a form of what is it?
Self-protection?
It's a self defense mechanism where my brain, right before I wake up, is like, oh no, no, you don't need to remember any of this garbage, this trash. Let's protect what little sanity your two little brain cells is trying so hard to protect.
I bet that's what it
And
is.
my two little brain cells are just going in overdrive every time before I go wake up.
Oh, that's
They're
the
like,
best thing.
hey, hey, you don't need this.
No.
But on that topic, I am a no dreamer. You are an avid dreamer.
Yep.
So let's get on this topic. I want you to tell me what your weirdest dream or dreams were.
Oof.
I'll let you start off.
Weirdest? All right. Well, I have this broken down into categories, like we said before, like weirdest,
Oh my goodness.
reoccurring, other things like that. So
Right.
I have like 2 pages of shit. I told you, like this is like a whoof episode for me.
Should this have been a two-parter?
Um.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah. Okay. Like the weirdest one, most recently, I would have to say, like the weirdest one that I take the most delight in, of recent days has been I was on like some sort of mission. Like I'm always on some sort of like thing.
You were always like, whenever you tell me about your dreams, you're like, I'm on this mission. I'm just like, what else is new? All right, so you're going commando.
Right.
What's the mission? What is the prime objective this time?
All right, buckle up.
What is the prime objective?
I had to take down the Planters peanut guy because like he was
The what?
actually the Planters peanut guy with the
Oh,
monocle
I
and
know
the top
him. I'm
hat?
just wondering what he did to you.
Well, like apparently he's this huge supervillain. Like I've never had that thought consciously before this moment, but it appears that my subconscious is this like skeptical, conspiratorial biche. Anyway, so all of these events lead like chasing around the world. I remember being in Tokyo, I remember being in Russia, and then I remember coming back to like the United States, and there was this big like Western standoff at the Brooklyn Bridge, and the Peanut Dude's men were like chasing me down, and there were too many of them, so I turned into a giant kraken.
What?
I know,
You're
I
fighting
know.
a peanut man.
He got big too, okay? I forgot to mention that, but
Oh, so it's like a kaiju battle.
yeah, it's like a kaiju battle.
Oh my god.
But with the Planters peanut guy and like
The
a
hell?
kraken. It was the best thing ever. Don't judge me.
I'm not. I'm gonna judge you silently though.
But we had this massive battle royale that just completely decimated the Brooklyn Bridge. Like poor New York, right?
It's always New York.
It's always New York. I lived in New
What
York
New York
for
ever
like
do to
so
you?
long. Nothing. I love that place. I lived there for so long.
And you're having kaiju battles in the middle of it with the friggin' Planters peanut man. What did he?
I mean, you wanted
Whatever.
weird.
Just keep going.
That's like
Keep
the weirdest.
going.
No, like right after that, basically, I won. But like right after that, I woke up and I was like, "Whoa,
You're like, what the hell?
whoa, man!"
No, I would have just laid there, reflected on my life choices.
I tried to go back to sleep. I wanted to go back to being a kraken. That was really cool.
So did you have like all the suction cups and stuff? Were you like
Yeah.
throwing buildings at them, or?
I grabbed part of the Brooklyn Bridge and threw it through a shell. It was brutal. It was a brutal battle. It was pretty
So-
good though.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Is the Planters peanut man does he have peanuts inside him, or is it just a shell? Or does he have organs in there?
Okay, so like he is filled with like a million bajillion unshelled peanuts. It's weird. It's like a collective hive mind of peanuts.
Okay, so whenever he spilled the peanuts, whenever you gave him severe head trauma,
Oh, peanuts were just falling out. Yeah,
were they
like a pinata, actually.
You mentioned a hive mind, so were they attacking you, or did they just fall
couldn't.
into the
They
ground
couldn't
like
really
blood?
move. Yeah, they were just falling to the ground like blood. They were just like normal peanuts outside of his body.
Maybe those were his eggs.
That's disgusting. Oh, no, like a part 2,
It's gonna be
a
part
Deuce
two.
X, a Duex.
And whenever it happens, I want you to let me know.
Oh my god.
And this time, it's got to take place in San Francisco.
San Francisco. God, now I have to look up
Yeah.
all these different
There's
like
a-
pictures of San Francisco. I've never been there.
There's a bridge there too, right?
The Golden Gate Bridge.
Well, what bridge did you destroy in New York?
The Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh, they're different.
Yeah.
I thought they were the same thing.
No.
I told you, my two brain cells,
San
they're trying,
Francisco's in
okay?
California, my dear.
Well, I knew that. It's by Sacramento, right?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
so.
See, I
I've never
told
been
you,
to
I got two
California.
brain cells. They're severely overworked. They got nothing.
Got
They're running on
nothing.
empty.
This is what
They're
you get.
trying their damnedest.
Oh my god, this is gonna be the best episode so far. I love it already.
Ugh. All right, see, you got a funny, weird dream. My weird dream is just freaky. It's it's so jarring to me that I still remember the three main components to this day. Like it just happened last night. I remember that I'm in this dark house. I want to say it's like a really big house. Not a mansion, but it's a good sized house and it's really dark. And it's somewhat empty. I say somewhat, but it's dark and I'm kind of wandering around trying to figure out where the hell I am. And I hear something in the distance. So I'm just
Mm-mm.
keep walking and I'm trying to find out what the source of this sound is.
Drums in the deep.
And it's it sounds like a television that's on the wrong channel, like back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just static. So I'm hearing television static, and I see light pouring out of a door from one of the rooms that's occupied. So I peek my head in, and there's this woman that is sitting on the floor. She has long dark hair, and she's wearing a white gown, like not like a hospital gown, but just like a pristine, beautiful
Mm-hmm.
dress,
Yeah.
like a summer dress.
Right.
And I see she's watching the television and she's sitting close to the television, but she's watching just the television static. And when she noticed that I was there, she looked at me and I saw that she had no face. It was just a
Ooh.
blank slate. But whenever she looked at me, the television reception was suddenly clear and it started to play a television show. And I was like, okay.
Oh, I don't like that.
And whenever she would look back at the television, it was just static and she was just watching that like it was clear. And
Oh.
I remember hearing something in the distance, like more like tiny footsteps, like click, clack, click, clack. And then
Horrifying.
I have really messed up dreams, okay?
Oh, it's so good
And
though.
and I hear this click, clack, click, clack. And I'm like, okay, who's coming to join the party now? And I poke my head back out into the hallway and I see this silhouette of what looks like a giant egg,
Uh-huh.
except it's got spindly arms and spindly legs.
Huh. It's
And
like
it is just patrolling the halls. It's not doing anything to anybody. Or I'm the only one conscious there. But it wasn't doing anything. It wasn't just trying to hurt me or anything. It was just patrolling. And I remember when it walked past me, it had this really big ear to ear grin. It was very menacing and beady eyes. And it was wearing a tutu, like a pink
oh.
tutu. It was really unsettling.
That was like a
He just looked at
nasty
me.
Humpty Dumpty.
Exactly. And he
Oh.
just kept walking. And
Oh.
the only other part, this is the third component that I remember, I was suddenly outside. I was just walking around. I don't remember how I got outside, but the entire place was just fog. It was really thick fog, like Silent Hill fog.
Oh
You can't
god.
hardly see in front of you, but I know I was outside. I was walking on the road. There's no traffic, no nothing, no signs of life. And I remember I hear the sound of a baby just
Nope.
crying, wailing, sobbing.
Mm-mm.
And I followed that sound too, because apparently I am dense as all hell.
No, it's actually a biological response. Don't worry. You're smart. It's just a biological weakness women have.
So I go and I follow the sound of this baby. And I see that it's next to the sound is coming from a smaller house, like a smaller suburban house. And there's this attached, like a car garage, with the door that opens or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I remember that's crouched right next to the house is a giant,
Oh.
and like a really, really big giant. And as soon as I walk up, and watch him. He looks down at the roof of the garage, and he reaches his giant hand down. He grips it and he pulls it off. I mean, it's happening slow because he's a giant. And for some reason, I could see what the giant was looking at. He looked down and he saw just a naked baby just screaming and crying on the hood of a red car.
Whoa.
Anything else that happened in that dream, I don't remember. But
That's
those
wild.
three things I remember the most, and I don't think I will ever forget it. I haven't forgotten it since, and I doubt I ever will.
That's really cool. I don't think I'm gonna forget that, honestly. That's really
It's
neat.
just messed up. I don't like it. Why?
Nah, but see, like, even with the messed up dreams, and like I said, that's where lucid dreaming comes in. I suffered from horrible night terrors when I was a kid. I had the
Really?
worst, most god awful nightmares. Like, I would wake up screaming. It was cold sweats, everything. It was bad. Um,
Oh my goodness. Okay, keep going because you just triggered a memory in me. But keep going. You're talking about nightmares.
Yeah, and I would
Keep
have
going.
like terrible nightmares that I would walk into my parents', bedrooms and they'd both be murdered. Like I'd never watched terrible things like that as a child, but it was vivid and I could describe the entire scene to you like to this day. Like it was awful. I would walk in
Yeah.
there and there would be like coffins sitting in my where my parents would be on their beds. Like it was trippy. It was like walking through a haunted house while on like 17 doses of acid or what I assume that would feel like. And like
Yeah.
not cuz I've never done that, but
I
like
believe you. I believe you.
um it was wild and I hated every moment of it and I learned about lucid dreaming and man, I worked my butt off to like control my dreams. So I would get this like tingly feeling if nightmares were coming and I would realize what was happening and I would focus on a different part of the dream and it would change the whole storyline. And I
See,
would
that's
avoid
actually
the
a
nightmare.
yeah, that's a really good skill. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that anybody that can do that is pretty freaking amazing. I mean, it's a skill,
It
and
is a
you can
skill.
control your dreams. And
It took years.
I don't
Years.
have I don't have dreams.
But
But
like
whenever you
gamers, yeah.
start, say what?
Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
no, no, no. You said gamers. Go on, go
Oh,
on,
well
keep
like
going.
gamers have a higher aptitude for learning how to lucid dream like
Oh, really?
easily. Because we are already used to controlling an avatar that is not ourselves in a video game. Yes, we're using our fingers and muscles, but like your brain just switches that over from muscles to neurons and impulses instead. So you're basically just controlling an avatar that is you, and you understand that that is not this, that it isn't real, and
Yeah.
that you can change it however you want.
See, I learned something new every day. My two brain cells are starting to grow a
They're
little
making notes.
bit. They got out their little notepads. But what I was gonna say was that whenever you started bringing up nightmares, all of a sudden I remembered, and this is one of the dreams I'll never forget. You know, it just stays in the back of my mind. Every once in a while, it'll come back out. But I remember as a child, back when I still lived in Buras, Louisiana,
Mhm.
with we lived next door to my granny, and me and my brother had bunk beds in the dwelling, and I don't know why I called it a dwelling,
Well, it's a dwelling. It's
but
right. It's not
a
wrong.
dwelling. But I remember my granny or my gramps, they were saying that for dinner it was turtle soup.
Oh,
And you know, Louisiana people will eat anything. We love anything. We'll eat anything. But there's like turtle soup for dinner tonight, and for some reason that horrified me as a
as a
child.
child, of course it would.
I was just a kid. I mean, it shouldn't have bothered me, but it freaked me out so bad. I was so horrified that whenever I went to bed that night, I remember I was just a kid, and this is a cartoony dream. I still remember the dream is like a Scooby Doo kind of cartoon aesthetic.
Of
So
course.
it wasn't that scary when I look at it now. But I remember I'm like in this haunted graveyard. Ooh, spooky. And instead of zombies coming up from the graves, it was zombie turtles,
Oh
and they were
no.
coming for me.
Oh my god,
they
you
were
poor
gonna
thing.
they were gonna put me into soup.
How dare you make soup
I
out
don't
of a
think
turtle?
I may have told my parents when I was a kid about that. I'm not sure if my mom will remember if I bring it up to her,
That's
but I do
precious.
remember lots of nights. I did have like bad dreams as a kid, most of them coming from walking down the horror movie aisle in like movie rental places. I was a huge wuss as a kid, but I would get nightmares just from seeing those. And I would always run into their room and like sleep at the foot of their bed.
Oh, that's
I think
precious.
at some point they're like, "You gotta stay in your bed." I'm like, "I can't. You don't understand.
I'm,
Chucky's gonna get me."
I'm scared.
Oh god.
Oh my
But
god.
yeah, I had the turtle nightmare.
Wow.
Now I want you to tell me
Yeah.
about your recurring dreams because you have them. As much as you dream, I know you've got to have them. I've
Oh
only
yeah.
had one when I was a child, the only one. But I want you to tell me what
Well,
are your recurring
well,
dreams.
I have like two different types of recurring dreams. I have
Spell
recurring
it, honey.
the the two types. Like the first type is a genuine reoccurring dream, which is the same thing over and over again. I can't change it. I just sit there and enjoy it, right?
Like a movie for
like
you.
like a movie, yeah. I still get to experience it in like 4D, but I'm it's just playing out. The second type of reoccurring dream is like I'll have some nights where I'll go to bed, have a dream, like a really cool, like really interesting dream, like one I had one time where I was investigating these ruins underground. I wanted to be Indiana Jones as a kid. um
That's
so
precious.
used to run around with my dad's fedora and like a
Oh,
rope.
nice.
Yeah. Um,
Dun, dun, dun,
yeah,
dun,
this chubby
dun.
little girl running around thinking she's Indiana Jones. It was great.
That's
Uh,
awesome. Don't knock
and
it.
oh, I'm not at all. But no, I had this dream. I was like doing this underground thing, and there was like ghosts involved, and it was just really cool. There was a lot of story left to uncover.
Yeah.
So, I remember waking up and going like, damn it, it's morning already, and so I remember getting up, going about my day, and like that evening I was laying down going, man, it'd be really cool, just thinking about that dream and whatnot. And I next thing I know, I'm in that dream, but it's not a reoccurring dream, it's a continuation.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun.
Exactly. So those are the two different types of recurring dreams. As for like examples, one of my
Give me some
favorite
examples.
my favorite one, the most vivid reoccurring dream I've ever had, that I can remember having as like a young teenager, until about the end of high school. So a good like maybe like 4 or 5 years, I would have this dream every so often, like maybe once or twice a month. Um,
Hmm.
but I would have this dream where I'd be standing in this like golden redwood forest, and it was like golden hour, right? So the light was just pooling through the canopy that was just like hundreds of feet above me. Um and I didn't know if they're like redwoods or something, but they were huge trees, like Jurassic era type trees.
Yeah.
And I'm in this little tavern that's in a town that's been built around the root of these trees. Like everybody builds around the trees because they're too big to cut down. Um, and I remember the ground just started shaking, and like I wasn't scared or anything, but instead I run outside and there's this like huge T-Rex outside that's just like chilling there. He's not doing anything bad, he's just relaxing. And like
Hmm.
I always climb up onto the back of the T-Rex and ride through the forest, like sitting up way on his head. And like I loved that dream. We walked through the forest, I would see like deer just tiny running down below us, like between its feet, and it was really cool. Like it was an amazing dream. I have not had it since high school, but I remember it in vivid detail. Um
Well, maybe talking about it will help you be able to revisit it soon.
Man, that would be really cool.
Because I want
Um
you to ride on top of a dinosaur head. I mean, that is majestic. I can see it now. It's like, oh, it's like the sunshine, the
Man.
winds blowing through your hair. You're on
and
top of a freaking dinosaur,
like I don't
like
want
a girl version of Fabio.
pretty much. And like one of the things I want to make clear is like lucid dreaming is not the key to having good dreams every single night. Like, I have some messed up dreams too. Most of my dinosaur dreams of late have been me running from velociraptors, or like there was a dream I had that zombies were involved and velociraptors, and like the Umbrella Corporation was there, and it was up, and like I was just trying to survive, and like at some point I had to crawl onto this roof of like this burnt out semi truck, you know, like the actual crate trailer part, and like squeeze myself in this small space between that and the roof of this like crumbling overpass to escape from velociraptors, and I had to stay there for like 12 hours. So no, not all of my dreams are good. If I miss the opportunity to change the course of my dream, I'm effed. I am
Oh,
SOL.
you poor, poor creature.
I can just handle it better now as an adult, realizing that, ah, this is gonna suck, but here we are. And if it gets too bad, I can wake myself up, but I
Yeah.
really like the experience, because, like, when are you ever gonna get chased by velociraptors and zombies at the same time? Like, come on, cock a shotgun, have some fun.
Hopefully never.
Yeah, hopefully never. Honestly, I never
Hopefully
want to
never.
experience that in life. Um,
Well, my recurring dreams aren't as really well, recurring dream is nowhere near as eventful as yours. But I remember as a little girl growing up, um, every once in a while I would have this dream. It always took place in the same place, same time of day. It's like the middle of the day. I'm walking, minding my own business, and I see this giant tree. And I walk up to the tree and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna climb this tree. And I look up and I see that there's already someone in the tree, sitting there like a crappy little bird. And you'll see why I say this. So like, hey, there's a friend up there. I'm gonna go make a friend. I'm
oh.
climbing this tree now, and he's all the way up at the tippy top. So I'm climbing and I'm climbing. I spend 90% of this dream climbing. So I'm climbing up this freaking tree. And when I finally get to the top, as we can go, and I sit on the big old branch, and I sit next to the boy. I don't remember what he looks like. All I know is he's a little asshole. So I sit next to him, and I'm like, "Hi." He doesn't say a word to me. He just ploop pushes my behind out this tree like a
Oh,
crappy little bird, like I told you.
what a
So
little
here I am
jerk.
now, falling out of this tree, and by the time I hit the ground, plop, I wake up. It starts out as, hey, this is a nice tree. Hey, this is a friend. The next thing you know, I'm falling,
So,
and it's one of those like falling waking dreams. Like, oh yeah,
right. Oh, I hate those. Um, so I have a question, like, in regards to
tell me.
that. Like, it's a recurring dream. So, do you know in the dream that you're about to get pushed out of that tree when you start climbing it?
No, because I'm stubborn. I'm like, it's like it
Wow.
resets every single time. It resets. It's like, hey, here's this awesome tree. This is definitely the first time I've seen this tree. Hey, there's a new friend up there. This is definitely the first time I've
Oh
seen this little freak.
man.
Yeah, every time it's the same. It's
Wow. That's cool
I
though. I mean,
it's
not
not for
cool, but
me.
like not a cool experience, but it's fascinating to me that like it's so different, like so vividly different, like the way our brains are structured around dreams, right? Oh, it's so cool.
I just keep going back to my two little brain cells, trying as hard as they can.
Okay, but all right. So, I have to say, like one of the reasons I got so excited about doing this week's episode about dreams um
Yeah.
was because as a writer, the secret to my writing is that all of my ideas, every single one of them, I have experienced in some sort of facet through dreams. So every single idea I've ever gotten for writing a story came from having a dream of a situation either exactly like that or very similar that I,
And that makes me
adjusted.
extremely envious because I don't dream. All of my dreams come from, oh, not all my ideas come from when I'm awake. I usually get my best ideas when I'm just driving
Mhm.
and listening to music that inspire my thinking cells things,
Which makes
those
sense.
things up there.
And
But no, I like you've told me at one point that yeah, you do dream about your characters. And
Yeah.
I remember feeling jealous because I'm like, they never appear to me, you know?
Right,
They
right,
never appear to me. I've never seen them move or be more than just two-dimensional.
right.
But I've always found that fascinating. So tell me more about this.
Oh, about okay. Well, so I've had some weird coincidences that have happened around dreams. One that we'll get to later in this episode, that involves me and Geo, which is kind of cool.
Yes, which
But
is
we'll get to
very
that later.
messed up.
um, but the one that comes to my mind of like how, it's affected my writing because of how, just how realistic these dreams are to me.
Yeah.
I've actually had an experience that slides into with dreams, because of how it ended, but also just kind of a weirdly unexplainable experience, um, that actually got me writing in the first place. That I feel is like important to share if we're talking about dreams.
Of course, of course. I'm all ears.
Yeah, dreams
My
are
two
like
brain cells are just listening away.
dreams
They're
are like
taking notes.
you're the best.
No, you shut up.
Oh no. So it's a pretty weird thing. Kind of falls under weird dreams too. Or even reoccurring. Like and the effects of this dream and this experience kind of, well, I mean not kind of, absolutely did change my life. So prior to this experience, I couldn't write. I had atrocious handwriting, and I know that's
Yeah.
probably really hard for you to believe, Panda.
I don't believe that because what examples of your actual handwriting I've seen is drop dead gorgeous.
Pretty
You have
good.
very beautiful handwriting.
Thank you. I did not always have that. I pretty much coasted all the way into middle school with the most terrible handwriting anybody has ever seen. Um, my parents and they bought me those like learn better handwriting books, but I was a
So was
lazy
it
little
like
kid.
whenever they would actually when the teacher would have to grade your paper, would they actually like have like a cipher next to
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it was pretty bad apparently.
Wear a decoder ring?
Yeah, it was terrible. I've seen some of my old stuff that's survived, like our countless moves. We've moved like 20
I
times.
can I can see the teacher, grading your paper, like, okay, okay,
I would have
got
hated
this. All
me.
right. And it would say, drink your Ovaltine.
No, I would have hated correcting my writing assignments before this moment. So, I think it was just because I was a really lazy kid. Like why have better
Yeah,
handwriting? What do I have to say? Type of a thing.
right.
Um, so anyway, we're living in Connecticut at the time, and my grandma came from Idaho out to visit us. Um, and we decided, hey, let's go up to Boston, right? We spent so much time in Boston. It was only like an hour away or so, and we just loved the city. Like, had been there tons of time. We've spent like so many hours in like the Boston Aquarium and the Boston Science Museum, um, which are like some of my favorite memories of my stepdad. But anyway,
Yeah.
my grandma decided that while we were in the city, she wanted to go to the Cheers pub, to get some merch for
Oh,
my
cool.
grandfather because he's a huge fan of the show.
Who isn't?
Right. And so my stepdad and I decided, we've already been in there. Like, we're just gonna hang out in the Boston Commons or the Boston, Botanical Gardens, which was literally right across the street.
Over in Boston?
In Boston, yeah, I used to have a really heavy like no. We're
We're
not
not
doing
doing that
that.
this episode.
That's just for you, babe. All right. My
Ah,
boyfriend loves my Boston accent. I don't know why.
we
Anyway,
do have fun.
we do. But anyway, we're right across the street from the Cheers place. And they have all these trees that are planted in the Boston Commons along the path with all these like pretty benches, and each of the trees says where the seed or like the sapling came from.
Right.
And my dad decided to sit down on a bench that was looking at the duck pond,
Hmm.
which had like the swan boats on it you could take and pedal out, like just cute Boston stuff. Um, and behind him was this really beautiful, like some kind of oak tree, I think. I can't remember the type of tree it was now, but it was big and it had like a bunch of like knotty, um, like root basket system, which is what I sat in
Yeah.
because it was like a root basket. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna sit here instead of a bench because I was like a little wild druid as a child. Um, so so
You're such a
he's
weird individual.
Thank you. So my stepdad is sitting looking out at the swan boats and he loved to people watch. It was one of our favorite activities. We would like imagine
Yeah.
what everybody was going through. Um that's probably why I'm like a writer. But
Yeah.
so he's doing his own thing. I'm doing my own thing, just watching people. There's like people picnicking in the large field that's behind us. Well, it's to my left, but it was, behind my stepdad. And there are people out there having picnics. There are other people playing frisbee, and this is before the world of social distancing. But it wasn't a very busy day. People were pretty spread out. There wasn't a ton of people that were at the park, even though it was a really nice day. Um, I remember getting this really weird feeling. I was looking at the little plaque of the tree that I was sitting in, and I saw that it was from Scotland, which I thought, oh, that's really cool. I have a lot of heritage from Scotland. I'm like
Yeah.
obsessed with the place. I don't know why. I've never been able to explain why. Um, so it
Well,
wasn't
you
like,
said it.
yeah,
You have a lot of Scottish heritage.
right.
So, I mean, that to me that would explain. It's like your blood's calling out. I'm going to be poetic about it. I would say that your blood recognizes your blood's calling out.
Right. So I'm sitting in this root basket of a tree from Scotland, the actual, actual seeds from Scotland. And I looked out over the field and I saw a man wearing full Highland regalia. Like old regalia.
Like,
I'm not talking about like modern, like King James era. I'm talking like the tartan slung over the shoulder with, man, it just took my breath away, right? Because I'd
yeah.
never seen something like that before. I was still fairly young. I was, God, 14? 14, I think? 13, 14, somewhere around there.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, is there like an event going on in the city, right? Because I know Boston has a lot of Celtic heritage. Um,
Yeah.
um, so I was like, well, I mean, maybe. And like the dude looked at me and nobody else was paying attention to this guy, right? He was an anomaly in the middle of this field and no one else is looking at him and I'm just staring dead at him and he's looking at me and I'm like, "Oh, okay. What's happening?" And he starts walking closer and
See,
I'm
look,
like,
I was about to ask, is he looking at you like what?
"No, he was just looking at me like he knew me." And I was like, "What?"
Okay, this is going to a really weird place.
I know. It was very weird. Like I said, it was an unexplained event. Anyway,
Okay, he's towards you.
I'm trying to get my dad's attention at this point, my stepdad's attention, and I'm like, hey, like, hey, there's this guy. Do you see this guy? Because nobody else was. A dude ran right by him and did not seem to see this guy, right? He's not, my stepdad is not paying attention to me. Frustratingly, I turn and look away from this guy to look at my stepdad to get his attention. He finally looks over. I point. This guy is nowhere to be seen. He's gone. It was an open field and he is gone.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's a good thing you looked away
Yeah.
because if that was a ghost, then either he was gonna do something pervy to you
Oh
or he was gonna
no.
possess you.
No. I never got that feeling. Like I never felt like I was in danger. It was just very weird and I'd never had like I
An
mean, I'd always
experience
been
like
yeah,
that.
and I'd never had an experience like that before. And well, I mean, I'd had some other unexplained experiences before, but this was very, very weird. And so I couldn't find him and I was obsessed about it and I told my stepdad about it. He's like, and he made a joke. He's like, "Oh, maybe you just saw a ghost of the past." And that just, did not make me feel better, but um
Just got your creative juices flowing even harder.
maybe because at that point I was just like tripping over this weird thing that happened. Well, I went to bed that night after we got home and I had a dream where like this very vivid dream of me being back in the past and like welcoming home my husband back from war. And like I was the happiest I'd ever been in my whole entire life. But this guy,
Oh,
didn't have a face. It was really hard to see his face. Um
yeah.
but like it felt familiar to like what I had seen in the park. And so
Hmm.
I had that dream, and ever since that moment I had more dreams with that person. And his face kept getting clearer and clearer and clearer. I've never seen this person before in my life except for in my dreams. And so that inspired the very first book I ever wrote,
Yeah.
and the one I'm currently working on my final iteration before I try to publish again. So, man, dreams are like just a huge part of what make me me, I guess.
I believe that. I truly believe that is a I'm trying to think of a good way to say that it's a fascinating story, but it's the only words I can come up with right now. That is truly a fascinating story. I
Yeah.
mean, I love everything about it, and that's just listening to it. That sounds like something you would retell at like a booth, you know?
Yeah.
When people ask you, "How did you come up with this?" and that it's so beautiful,
But
and
like,
I love that.
thank you. But like the weirdest part about that was after that moment, my handwriting got better. Like I put more I mean, yeah, obviously I put more effort into it, but my handwriting improved. I was able to write. I started having these insane dreams that weren't just night terrors. They were actually like I was being told a story. And it was really cool. And so
Yeah.
I kept writing down all of these ideas, and now I have like all of these books I have to write. But before before I get ahead of myself and before we run out of time, um, we definitely need to talk about the weirdest dream experience we've both had.
Yes, and first off, I do want to say thank you for sharing that because that was beautiful and I loved listening to every second of
Oh,
it.
thank
So
you.
thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
But the I'd say the weirdest, I can't say weirdest, the most strange, the most abnormal dream thing that I've ever experienced, you were a part of it
It was.
because I
Mm-hmm,
remember I went to bed one night and I had this dream
mm-hmm.
and I have to wait for you to wake up because I live in the future. I'm 2 hours ahead of you.
Yeah,
I would never stop saying that. I live in the future.
you do. You do.
And I remember I texted you whenever you told me that you were awake. I said, "Hey, I had this really weird dream."
I was like,
Um,
me too.
and I told her what happened in my dream and she was like, "Oh
The
my god. You
WTF.
you continued my dream." So we had a shared dream
We had a shared
experience.
dream. We had a shared dream experience where we both experienced things together momentarily before I continued it.
No,
After
I
you.
continued your end.
Did you?
You dreamed it. Yeah, I dreamed because I remember I had the final. The
Oh,
I don't.
shit, you did. Yeah, we woke up at the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember it was pretty final for me.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no. I remember waking up at that point because nope, I am
Do
not.
you remember?
I'm not doing that. No.
Do you remember how it started out? Because I can't remember much of what happened on your end, but I
Yes.
remember what happened on mine.
Yes, I remember
Refresh
how it
me.
started out.
Now
Um,
remember that this is the remember guys, this is the first time that we've actually talked about this dream since it happened. Like
since the
we
initial moment, yeah.
yeah, we talked about it once and then never again. So
Yeah.
this is me experiencing it for the first time all over again. So
Yeah.
tell me.
Yeah. So the first thing I remember in this dream was this just overwhelming sense of panic, right? Um, and I knew from the moment that I like gained cognizance in my dream, quote unquote, and
Mhm.
realized that I was dreaming, I knew the way it felt that it was not going to be necessarily a good dream, but I always try to turn them positive. It's just
Yes.
something, a healthy habit I try to do rather than running away from it. Um, Kind of like I'm afraid if I run away from it, I'm never gonna dream again.
Yeah.
So I just suffer with it and try and change it. Well, I remember it started initially out, things felt uneasy, like I knew something bad was coming, like how I feel when a night terror is coming.
Yes.
Um, and I knew I was like, all right, we got to look for the path that's gonna, be the positive outcome to this unpleasantness. And I remember being in a situation where we had to go into the woods and we were surviving. There was some sort of apocalyptic situation that forced us out of the normal confines of like human social structures. So people were, fending for themselves, and there was some darker shit going on where we were. Because I'm pretty sure that this took place down in your neck of the woods, because I did not know where I was most of the time
I
in this
believe it
dream.
did take place in my neck of the woods.
I was
I do.
lost. I remember it was hot. I was lost. I was sweating the whole time. Um, so it's definitely not north, and it was definitely very creepy south kind of
welcome
forests,
welcome to the
bayou.
deep south,
Yeah,
honey.
yeah, it was pretty like it was terrifying, all right.
Where it's hot, humid, and creepy.
Right. And so I did not know where I was. And that was very concerning to me because most of my dreams are somewhere familiar. Like either I've seen it
Hmm.
in a picture or it's a completely fantasy alien landscape that my brain just came up with. But this was very clearly somewhere, and I had no idea where it was. And I remember gaining cognizance. We were with this like group of people that we thought were okay at first. Um, and you and I were kind of staying separate from everybody else because we didn't trust anybody. Like at this point, we'd been through some shit. I can't remember what it was that we'd been through. It was like before I gained cognizance in the dream. But like the backstory to this was like, oof. So I remember um at some point we both got dragged into the woods by a bunch of people that we didn't know. And you were with me. We were both terrified. I'm panicking, trying to figure out a way to get us both out of this situation because there's no way in hell I'm leaving you behind. Um, Hilariously. And I could tell that like these people wanted us dead. And I remember there was like some sort of like really creepy like ritual aspect of it. But that's a bit vague now because this was like a year or two ago.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It was a while back.
Yeah. Um but Geo, you were actually the one that managed to get us away from that group. And I don't know how
Hmm.
you did it. You were just like, "Hey, shut up, calm down, like now, go. We're going." And so like we started running, and we got away. And it was kind of a little flag for me. I'm sitting here going like, wow, normally this doesn't happen. Normally I have to figure a way to get out of this because everybody's looking at me, right?
Hmm.
Um, but it was the first time that like the reins were just completely taken, and I was like, okay, I'm going. I'm traveling on this raft, right? And you got us into this like cabin of some kind, and we were filthy. We've been running through the bayou. There's like I'm pretty sure like we like there's other things besides mud on us. Like it was just gross. And
See, I don't remember that part just yet. I do remember
because there are
everything else.
blanks in my in my
Yeah, I
memory.
remember. I think the part where I remember the most, the part where I stepped in, is at some point you and me got separated. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I got to find you. I got to find you. Because that's what I remember the most, is that I have to find her. And when I did find you, you were with two people. It was an older man and an older woman.
Oh my
And
god, that's right.
you were with an older man and an older woman. And I was like, okay, this isn't right. This isn't right. She doesn't look like she's all right with this. So I'm like,
Mm-mm. I
okay.
was scared. I did not know who those people were. Like I remember the last thing that I had remembered was being separated from you when we were running. I skipped
Hmm.
ahead. We were running away from the people that dragged us into the woods, and then I found this like older couple in the woods who seemed really nice, and I couldn't find you. And so like they were like, "Come with me." And then we ran into you, and yeah, it was
When I found you, they were trying to get you to, I can't remember if it was to drink something or to take
mhm.
something.
Mhm.
I
It
do
was
remember
drinking.
that I remember that it smelled like grapes, like actually
Mhm.
like grape cough syrup. I do
Mhm.
remember that because I remember saying this smells like grapes.
Yep.
And I don't remember the details because it was so long ago. I do remember telling you not to do it, and I grabbed your hand and I said, "We got to go." And we started running. This is where it intersects for me because we were running, we were filthy, we were
Mm-hmm.
tired. We did find this house.
Mm-hmm. And
And
you told me to take a shower.
I was very concerned about you because you were freaking out. And I'm
Oh
like, I
yeah.
got to be the strong one. I got to be the strong one. As soon as she cleans up, she'll feel better. There was enough distance. I'm like, as long as she gets a quick shower, she'll be
Mm-hmm.
fine.
I remember you
So,
barricaded the doors with like what little furniture was left in this like cabin, basically.
and I told you, you're going to be fine. You're going to be okay. Just go get a shower, relax. Everything's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember while you were in the shower, um, the man came.
Yeah,
He
I
came.
heard the sound.
But I don't remember him actually being loud. I don't remember
Mm-mm.
him like knocking down the doors. I just know he somehow got in.
No, he was inside. I heard you, is what I
And
heard.
I remember I was standing by the bathroom door and I said, "Don't come out. Don't come out."
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember that he killed me.
Yep.
And I think the last thing I said to you was run away.
Yep. You
Run.
you told me to run out the window because there was a window in the bathroom, and I had like just finished taking my shower. I turned the water off, and I heard you say that, and then like I heard you get stabbed to death, and I woke the up because I was not. That was not okay for me. Like, no,
And we never said this was going to be nice, a nice shared
no,
dream, guys.
no. It
We
was
never
it was
said what
not.
kind of dream was.
No.
But yeah, that's depressing.
Yeah, just a little.
um,
But it was weird because we had those weird overlaps on the same exact night, and it was like a shared dream. It
it was a
was.
shared dream experience because I remember when I told you, you said, "Oh my God, you continued my dream." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my God, you were the prequel to my dream."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when you were telling me what was happening, I was like, oh my god, no, there was just shit I couldn't remember because you died, and I didn't want to remember that part of the dream, but I now remember it in vivid detail. It was awful, and I would be better off not remembering that moment. But, like, beyond, like, quantum entanglement, I can't explain that. I, I
I
can't.
can't either. I
Yeah.
just think it's a spiritual thing.
Yeah.
I think that we have grown so close that even
No.
though our distance is so far apart, that our emotions are linked.
I can
Our
tell when you're having a
emotions
bad day.
our emotions are linked, our spirits are connected,
Mm-hmm.
and we just have that strong of a bond that I believe that's possible
I do too.
because our bond is unbreakable, and God help anybody that tries to come between us because you will see me on the front page of the newspaper just cheesing it like, yeah,
Yeah.
they thought they could
Yeah.
write to me in jail, boo boo.
I'll come visit you every day.
Okay, we weren't able to get to the sleep paralysis just yet. I think we're
Well,
gonna save that for next
you
time.
know, I had an idea while we were talking about this.
What's that?
We have our regular episodes, but you know, since we want our topics to be fairly different every week, why not have like an after hours session where we, you know, keep this recording around the normal time, but we continue it and we add it on as like a bonus that people can listen to if they
Ooh.
want to. So we can keep
Oh,
continuing, but we can outro ourselves.
okay. Well, let's go ahead and take care of that. We're going to outro now.
Well,
Um,
before that, so sorry.
why are you what?
What? I
So
know,
many
right?
surprises.
I know so many surprises. We have a special message to one of our friends that we
We
want to
do.
get out,
I was
and
hoping we'd be able to get to this.
we
Um,
gonna get to it.
we are definitely going to get to it. Angel, I know
Hmm.
you're listening.
Yep.
And first off, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening to us,
Hmm.
for putting up with us.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, I know that just talking with you all the time on Discord, you are so talented.
Hmm.
You may not believe you are, but I know you are.
Yeah.
I can see how talented, witty, and clever and You're just an amazing friend.
You are. You are an amazing human being, an amazing friend. You have some pretty incredible skills. And honestly, one of your biggest skills you have is just being able to make people smile, man. And you're really good at what you do.
Like me and Panda, and I want to tell you this I'm going to tell you this right now. Me and Panda, we live in a bubble.
Yeah.
We really do. We've known just each other for so long that you have to be special for us to adopt you.
Yeah. And
And we've adopted you
you've
because we love you.
you've been
We
around
see something in you.
you've been around for 2 years, man. It's official. You're not going anywhere.
You've been adopted.
Yeah.
We just wanted to remind you that you are special,
Hmm.
that you matter, and we do love you.
Yep.
So thank you for being our friend.
Thanks, Angel.
And thank you for being our friend. And I hope one day that you will be able to see just what you can do.
Absolutely.
All right, on that sappy
I
note,
know, right? Love
love you, Bobo. That
you.
should just about wrap it up for this week's episode. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Fruit Salad. What's today's mix?
The show that makes you acutely aware of your surroundings. We know how fast you are with that pause button.
Oh, do we?
We do. So, if you have something you'd like to hear our comments on, please be sure to leave a comment below, or you can shoot us an email just to say hi at FruitSalad.WhatsTheMix@gmail.com. Please keep in mind that we don't want to talk about hot button topics because we're here to
Wait,
keep this lighthearted and fun. So no political or religious views, please. We're here to make you smile. All right.
keep going.
No. I'm Tabby.
I'm Gio. We hope to see you beautiful people next time. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.